He was born in a forgotten village where time moved slowly and hope was a luxury. The nights were long and silent, broken only by the whisper of wind through leaking roofs. His world was small, a mud house, a flickering candle, and a dream much bigger than the sky above him. Each morning he walked miles to school, barefoot on roads of dust and stone. The heat burned his feet, but the dream in his heart kept him walking. He didn't have notebooks, just scraps of paper stitched together. Still, he wrote on every page like it was gold. When hunger came, he drank water to fool his stomach. When exhaustion came, he looked at the stars and promised himself he'd reach them one day. His father was a farmer who earned less than enough to live. His mother sold vegetables by the roadside, counting every coin. Yet they never taught him to complain. They taught him to believe. Believe that nothing is permanent, not even poverty. And so, the boy learned that strength wasn't in comfort. It was in continuing, even when comfort never came. At 12, he began working in the market after school, selling water bottles to strangers. The coins were few, but each one mattered. While other children played, he counted the tiny clinks of money falling into a metal box. People mocked him. "You'll stay poor forever." He only smiled. Maybe, he thought, but not if I keep going. Years passed. His father's health weakened. One night, as rain fell heavily on their roof, his father whispered, "Son, even if life gives you nothing, give life your everything." Those were the last words he heard from him. The next morning, poverty became heavier, but so did his resolve. He took every odd job he could find, washing cars, carrying sacks, cleaning shoes. His hands cracked from work, but his spirit never did. He saved every coin, not to buy food, but to buy books. Knowledge became his only treasure, his secret weapon. In his mind, he was already building something, not a house, not a shop, but a future that would make his father proud. At 18, he finally opened a small phone repair stall using every coin he'd saved. It wasn't much. A wooden table, a single chair, a dream taped to the wall. The first week, no one came. The second week, 2 phones. Both returned broken. By the third month, thieves broke in and stole everything. He sat outside the empty stall, watching the streetlights flicker on the cracked screen of his last broken phone. He cried, not because of what he lost, but because he feared it meant his dream had an end. Days turned to silence, nights turned to questions. Then one evening he heard a familiar voice, his mother's, saying softly, "You only fail when you stop trying." He looked at his hands, rough, tired, and empty, and whispered, "I still have these. I can start again." And he did. He began repairing phones for free just to prove himself. People noticed. The same customers who once walked past now stopped and watched. His honesty became his advertisement. His kindness became his brand. The shop was gone, but not the dream. The boy who once sold bottles now repaired hope. He borrowed an old table, cleaned a corner of the market, and began again. This time, he offered repairs for free, not for money, but for trust. Word spread faster than he imagined. The man who lost everything became known for helping everyone. He worked late into the night, hands stained with dust and oil, eyes burning from the small lamp that lit his workspace. But he didn't feel tired. He felt alive. Every fixed phone was a message to the world. You can rebuild anything if you still believe in it. As months passed, small successes began to bloom. The tiny shop became crowded. He hired 2 boys from the streets, just like he once was. They called him boss, but he said, "No, call me brother." 10 years later, the same hands that once carried water bottles now carried vision. His business grew from a table to a company, from one city to 5. He bought his mother a new home, the first with a roof that didn't leak. When it rained, she smiled and said, "This sound, it no longer scares me." Reporters came to ask for his secret. He laughed softly and said, "There's no secret, just small steps taken every single day." He didn't forget the faces from his past. He visited schools, built libraries, and told the children, "I'm not special. I just never stopped moving." His company became a place of purpose, where every employee's story mattered. And in every success, he still saw the barefoot boy who started it all. With success came peace, but also reflection. He looked back at the road behind him, the dust, the hunger, the tears. Each hardship was a chapter, not a curse. He realized wealth was never the goal. Impact was. Money fades, but meaning remains. He created a foundation to help young dreamers, to teach them that education is freedom. For him, it was never about millions in the bank, but millions of hearts inspired. On his 40th birthday, he returned to the same village where it all began. He walked the same dusty road, now paved, lined with shops built by those he once inspired. He stood beneath the same sun and whispered, "Father, we made it." The camera fades to light, and his voice lingers. Remember, no matter where you start, greatness begins when you refuse to stop. You've just heard the story of a boy who started with nothing, but built a life that inspired millions. Now let me ask you, have you ever faced something like this? Have you ever been at your lowest point, but still refused to give up? Maybe you're walking your own hard road right now. Maybe your success is still on its way. What did this story make you think about? What lesson did it leave in your heart? Share your thoughts below, because your story, yes, your story might be the one that inspires someone else to never give up. And before you go, if this story touched your heart, please take 1 second to like, share, and subscribe. It costs you nothing, but it means the world to us, and it helps more people hear stories like this one. Thank you for watching, my friend. Until the next story, stay strong, stay humble, and keep believing.